Okay, here we are. We're back. We're talking about Mulligan Stew, Chapter 5. We had some technical difficulties in the last one. Maybe we should do another one, but we'll see. We'll try this one. Maybe I had too many windows open or something. So, I said in the previous video, some of the stuff I said it ended up being a 10-minute video and it was kind of choppy, but there was a few minutes. I just kind of repeated stuff I said before, so it wasn't like such a big deal. But one thing that I said, chapter 4 was my favorite so far, but because it seemed real complicated. It explained a lot what was going on. Like you didn't really get, you're the first 75 pages. You're a little bit wondering who these guys are, what's going on. A lot of it's the tragic gesture. A lot of the what's going on is explained. Mulligan Stew, and now this is an equal chapter. Burst Love Letters. This is a good name for a band. Um, so like I totally forgot about this. There was this chapter. I mean, it's an epistolary chapter, so it's definitely a lot like John Barth, where John his characters from his previous books are writing to him. The characters are writing to each other. It's written around the same time. Uh, I don't really remember Sorrentino having so many letters. I mean, so far uh, the letters to Sheila Henry, Sheila Lamont, his sister, are kind of like some of the best parts of the book so far. And then we have letters from Ned Beaumont to Daisy, and they're having an affair in chapter 5. So it gets really interesting. There's letters to Daisy and Ned, and they're flirting, and then they have sex, and and then they oh and then I was gonna mention that um like like letters. I mean, it's not so much like uh Ulysses. I mean, when we compared a lot of Sorrentino's long list of Ulysses and questions and answers, that's like Ulysses. But letters, I mean, there's letters by Henry Flower and Leopold Bloom, but um, I don't really. I mean, there are James Joyce's letters to Nora, which is probably more of a comparison. Besides the John Barth letters, the Joyce's letters to Nora are kind of like. I was reminded of those because they're sort of erotic letters. So we have in this Burst Love Letters, it's an epistolary section of the novel chapter. The chapter is all letters, pretty much, except for uh, the Martin Halpern's. He has a little bit of introduction and a bit of an end, but it's pretty much 95% letters from Ned to Daisy, and then Tom Buchanan comes in. He becomes aware of the affair. He sends her Daisy to Aspen. Ned goes there to meet her, and then as this affair, as these letters are going, and then of course those two women. God, what are they? I can't remember the names, but they have such great names. But there's this. He gets like this kind of letter called the He-Man. What is it called? As he's like writing letters, he just gets kind of like this. Now it would be like a spam kind of email, and um, but it's sort of what does he call it? Like the He-Man sample set. It's sort of like, like kind of erotic mail order, which kind of existed at the time. And these characters were the Coriendo and Berth Delamode, are also known as CND, were they're sort of flat characters. They're just sort of in the previous chapters, they're just sort of, for some reason, they're there. But in this chapter, they finally come to life, and they kind of come to life in this. Yeah, what is? Yeah, but Dermot Trellis calls it. A girly brochure. So, yeah, before the internet, they used to have, mail order, erotic, a lot of stuff, erotic films, stag films. Pornography was like sent through the mail and stuff. So this is kind of one of those emails from some kind of prince from some obscure country in Africa. That's a little bit how, like, this first letter is. It's like promising, like pictures and the best and the special insert, and it's nudes and corsets and high heels and every kind of kink, kind of. So Ned Beaumont sort of gets like totally distracted from the Daisy thing, which is, it just becomes like the vanilla, and she's like, gonna get divorced from Tom, so she can marry Ned Beaumont, they're in love, but he ends up sending money to Coriendo and Berth Delamode, gets them over. They helps them get a job at the introduce them some guy. Yeah, he knows a guy that works at a club called the L Jitters, I think it's called. Let's see. Oh, this is Tom Buchanan. Yeah, the L Jitters, and introduce him to Mr. I think it's Abe. Is it Abe North or something? He gets off on this whole track where the two women sort of he introduces him to Mr. Abe North, and he has the club the L Jitters, and they're working there. And then they're going on in dates, and then they want to like open up their own club, and they want Ned Beaumont to finance this club, and he's like figuring that out. So he gets kind of, like when it rain, in other words, when it rains, it pours. So, poor old Daisy's like over there in the lurch, and there's two women. Then one of Daisy's friends finds Ned Beaumont, partying with these European-looking women, and yeah, and the new club's called Club Zap, and they want her to finance it, and so yeah, it's like these letters, and then we get to the Lamont's notebook, I guess, and then he kind of like reviews. He's like thinking about it. He goes, "Wow, that was a really good chapter," but it was, but I don't know. It just, from the previous one, the Western, and then we get to this chapter with the love letters, and they're back in New York, and he's like questioning. Yeah, I like this chapter. This is great. This is the one he sent to his sister, and Dermot Trellis read it too. So, but he's like wondering, why would Ned Beaumont keep copies of the personal letters? Now they would do like emails. So like, yeah, C&D, Corey Coriendo, Berth Delamode, they're kind of like, it's kind of like, starting to spend some money on OnlyFans or something, and it just like totally distracts for, this, you're having this, this affair with this married woman, and this just this total other, they get sidetracked. So that's what happened. And then he starts writing to Sheila, and Let's see. Yeah, Letter to Sheila. He's just talking. Talking about. She's like giving him some advice for his book. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I'm trying to make C&D symbols of the decay of the country, as you suggest. And then Dermotralis likes it, and then Dermotralis also wants to see the girly pamphlet or something, like Lamont made this up, like from memory or something, like some kind of flyers and stuff. And then we get a bit of this kind of Western, Dermotralis, Red Dawn and Blue Denim. It's kind of like a Cormac McCarthy or a Louis L'Amour type of book. We get about 8 or 10 pages of that. It's okay. It just kind of goes off into this another Western. So I guess maybe the Western, the weird kind of shift into the Western in the previous chapter, the Jester, the Tragic Jester, maybe that was influenced by Dermotralis's novels or something. I don't know, because this kind of comes out of nowhere. This kind of like back in time, kind of like his a memoir of his backstory. Like it just takes place in California and in sunburned California. I've never heard of that. And the Dermotralis novel, and it pretty much ends with that, and then just his little comment about the brochure and the bras, the garters, and so and then so there's that. So we're up to page 138. So those are pretty two good chapters. I mean, if you kind of didn't like the first 3 chapters, you must definitely like 4 and 5. I mean, it gets more exciting, and we're getting up to the poem and the plays. So the next one's called Spilt Ink, which kind of is, and The Wood So Wild is the Wood So Wild. That's like a great chapter. That's like, it has like poetry, it has like the play, and Spilt Ink is a little bit like the original title, Synthetic Ink. So I showed you the okay, so it's not very long. Okay, so this is like 5 chapters, and I did some readings of Splendid Hotel today. If you is Mulligan Stew is too much to handle, this is like a good sample or even a preview of Mulligan Stew. You should read this, and that's what I said in the other run. And this book is kind of related. He wrote it at the same time. It's possibly could have been part of the novel, but got kind of. Sometimes when you're writing books, you're writing the A book, and sometimes when you're stuck, you write a B book, and that's what this one seems like, possibly. And we're going to be getting into this pretty soon. It's part of chapter 7, the Mask of Fungo. And so I'm really enjoying this book, Mulligan Stew. It's Sorrentino. It's an epistolary novel. I don't think people have talked about that as much. It's almost, there's letters all over the book, especially in chapter 5. His letters to Sheila Henry are almost in every chapter. He's trying to get and that's about it. So just a reminder. I've had some of the links what is this? Oh, some of the links didn't really work, so I kind of reposted them. I'm not sure what I have in here, but I definitely have a link to Sorrentino's reading in 93, So yeah, just put down. You can do a search, Gilbert Sorrentino, um, 93, and just on YouTube you can just put in Gilbert Sorrentino, and there's part 1 and part 2. It's an hour long. It was the Lannan and an interview with Michael Silverblatt. And he talks about his method and a lot about Under the Shadow. And Chris Sorrentino also wrote a Substack recently about it. And also, there's the 2 Sorrentino videos. There's my interview with Sorrentino from '94, which is after Under the Shadow, but before Read the Fiend. Wasn't aware of it yet. And also, there's Chad Post, at least one. I mean, he seemed like there was gonna be a series about Mulligan Stew, but there's at least one where him and Brian Wood talk for about an hour. That's really relevant, and I enjoyed it. Okay, so we're gonna end it. Not go on too long. Hope you enjoy Mulligan Stew and Sorrentino's work, and it's 5 days in a row, 5 videos. It's great. Okay, well, if you have any questions about Sorrentino, answer them in the comments or in another video.